Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. And this is a paid request for Jay Sean. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, movie reviews, re-reviews, random thoughts, streams, commentaries, video game playthrough for an hour, or full playthrough, whatever the case may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. Do have a CashApp as well. Links are down below in the info box, and I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. And this is for Purple Rain from 1984. Now, this is one of those films where I knew of it, of course. I had never seen it all the way through. Okay, I'm of two minds of this. Soundtrack is great. Now, if we're talking the soundtrack, then very, very much praiseworthy. Let's Go Crazy is very catchy. Let's go crazy. Do-do-do-do. Let's get nuts. Hey, no, let's go. Really gets your head bouncing and bumping and grinding. When the Doves Cry, that's a film that's a song that I've heard throughout the years. Works for what its intended purposes are, very catchy. When the Doves Cry. The title song, Purple Rain, which is at the end of the film, I definitely think is the best song on the album. It's my favorite Prince song. And I like Prince as an artist. I liked a lot of his songs. I like some of his songs in Batman 89. I don't listen to them a whole lot, though. I prefer The Store by Danny Elfman. But they're fine for what they need to be. But these songs I like more. But yeah, Purple Rain, I think, is very emotional. I love the tone of it. I love the groove, the instrumentation. It definitely feels epic and emotional. And for me, it's his best song. As a movie, I think it kind of sucks as a movie. To be honest, I think it's kind of a shitty movie. Because first and foremost, Prince himself comes off as a very unlikable character. I mean, I liked his songs, I liked when he sings, but when he's not doing that, it's not that I think he's this god-awful actor, because he's pretty much playing a version of himself. Because the plot is pretty simple. Prince and his band, The Revolution, they play this nightclub, which seems like they're successful each time, even though the manager of the club keeps saying stuff like, nobody digs your music but yourself. I'm like, really? Every fucking time he plays, the whole fucking crowd's like, yeah! So how is it that nobody digs his music but himself, but every fucking song he plays, people are like, yeah! Yeah, I'm like, so which is it? People are not into his music, or they're cheering the fuck out of it? Because every time he plays a song, Let's Go Crazy, and they're like, yeah, you know, they're cheering the fuck out of it. So how is it that nobody digs your music but yourself? So which is it, dude? Which is it? Like, you're saying him and the band are not doing well, but each time they play, it seems like they're fucking doing well. It's not like people are booing or jeering or get the fuck off the stage, you sissy, you know, or saying any other horse shit. See what I mean? Like, it doesn't make sense. So this girl, Apollonia, which I think at first Prince wanted Vanity, but couldn't get her, so Apollonia ran away. Like, she got into town, she was in this cab, ran away so wouldn't pay the fare, gets a job at the club. Prince meets her, kind of stalks her in a weird way, just kind of at one point looks at her and then stands behind her and just goes like this, like, I'm like, okay, this is usually how a villain does in a movie, but he's supposed to be the lead. And then eventually they fall in love, and he's a bit of a dick to her. They go to what he says Lake Minnetonka, and then kind of gets her half undressed and tricks her into the water, then goes, "This is a Lake Minnetonka," steals her fucking, and he's a dick to her then. At one point, "Hey, let me see that." Like a bracelet on her boot, then takes it and leaves, doesn't give it back, so he's a bit of a dick for that. The two female members, they feel like shit because you don't use our songs, and he mocks them. I get that that's a character arc, but to be fair, but I'm like, wow, this guy's a dick. What about him should I like other than he's a good singer? And then you have this like weird tone when he gets home, and then sometimes the music's like horror music where the father is abusing the mother. The father's actually Clarence Williams III from Tales from the Hood. The good shit. Yes. Got the good shit. And then Prince can't fight his father, can't do anything. He like tries to fight, but it's like, oh, like kind of like, okay, is Prince, is his character supposed to be a sissy? I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I mean a wimp. I mean like in a wimp fashion. Is he supposed to be wimpy? Supposed to be a fucking sissy wimp? Because he's what, 26 years old by the time this film comes out, say when it's made, like 25, and he can't try to, stop his dad from beating the shit out of his mom, and he's acting like he's a 13-year-old. I don't know, man. Like, he can't do anything. He can barely manhandle, maneuver, do anything. At one point, he thinks he's a ventriloquist to mock the female members. He has his doll or something, then he like speaks, but nothing comes out. I'm like, when the fuck was he a ventriloquist? So the rest of the story is Apollonia gets the opportunity to be the leader of a band because of Morris Day, who has a band called The Time. Now I'm trying to think, did Morris Day ever know Apollonia could sing? I get that maybe he thinks she's hot, and she says she's a good singer, but was there ever a scene before that you watch and go, wow, she's a good singer, let's get her in the band? It seemed like, oh, she's hot, let's have her be the leader of the band, then finds out, oh, she's a good singer. Morris Day is very cartoony in his reactions, the way he's just very, very cartoony. Prince plays a few songs. His father smashed shit out of his mom a few times. When Prince finds out Apollonia got this opportunity by Morris Day, he fucking smashed the shit out of her. I mean, not just a bitch slap, like a double kill bitch slap. Which I'm sure the movie's trying to portray about how, how his father treats his mom, he's treating her, and the sins of the father is not reflecting on the sins of the son. Then you have this montage where he's just driving around his motorcycle, and we see scenes from the film we're already seeing, to When the Doves Cry. Also, I will say, watching this made me understand a bit more of Kevin Smith's story when he talked about Prince. This is a tangent. On An Evening with Kevin Smith 2, this is when I thought Kevin Smith was worth a shit. Because I do think the Evening with Kevin Smith stuff is fun, at least the first two. The others are okay. The first two I thought were the best. But in the second one, he tells about... Or was it the first one? Was it the first one? Maybe it was the first one. Now I think it was the first one. Because I think wasn't the big story the Superman story and the Prince story? No, maybe it was the first one. God, it's been a while since I've listened to that. So maybe it was I can't remember. It's one or the other. Anyway, he tells the story about Prince, this documentary, which apparently still hasn't seen the light of day. And he was supposed to direct this documentary. But it's also like a concert film. And he has this thing like, don't talk to me like Apollonia, into late Minnetonka. Now, I hadn't seen Purple Rain, so I didn't understand what he meant. I thought he was talking about, like, Teen Arthur type of shit. With the lady, Lake Minnetonka and Apollonia. I thought, is he talking about some, like, not Teen Arthur, but some Teen Arthur type of shit? No, he's talking about Purple Rain and Kotero. I'm like, okay. Now I get the reference more. Just, I'd heard the soundtrack Purple Rain, but I honestly never bothered to watch the film. And to be honest, it didn't seem like I missed much watching the film. This is a very straightforward story. Not that that's a bad thing. Prince didn't really show much acting, just kind of a lot of moments of staring. Until he sings. He doesn't have a ton of dialogue. He plays the song Darling Nikki, which is kind of a jab at Apollonia, and she gets pissed. And then that's where the club owner goes, nobody digs your music but yourself. I'm like, really? It seems like everybody digs his music. He comes home, he hears a gunshot, his father tried to shoot himself. His mom went to the hospital with him. He smacks all the stuff in the basement. He looks at the music that those two girls had written, composes a song, plays the song, Purple Rain. Everyone starts doing this. Then all of a sudden, Apollonia is in love with him again. They don't have any conversations about why did I smack you, what's going on in his home life. Like, there's no actual dialogue, communication, human interactions really in this movie. She heard the song, so she forgives him. And I'm like, damn, that's all it took? Okay. Is she still going to be Apollonia in the girl band? Is she just going to be the prince? The girlfriend of Prince? If... I don't know, that was hard to buy. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you guys don't even know how to have a conversation about what happened, what was going on, how you feel about each other. Nothing. Okay. Morris Day seems to be fine with it. Just when Prince starts rocking, Morris Day's like, I'm like, really? Well, I thought you were like the bad guy antagonist. Now you're perfectly fine. Apollonia's with him again. You're perfectly fine. Prince is rocking. He's perfectly fine with it. That stuff with the parents, that's still up in the air. The last shot is Clarence Williams III at the hospital with a bandage around his head. The mom is there. But that still doesn't mean this guy won't be a dick or an abusive shithead. Or he won't go back to hitting your mom again. There's no real conversation the son has with his dad. There's no real conversation the son has with his mom. There's no real conversation the son, Prince has with his girlfriend. Nobody. And people go, well, yeah, it's just Prince. Well, it's still a fucking movie. Then that's the case. I'll just listen to the soundtrack because that's better than the fucking movie. Because I think the movie sucks. The soundtrack's good, but the movie sucks, in my opinion. It's shit. He plays a fucking dickhead. Yes, you could explain, because of what's happened with his parents. But there's other people that have gone through that didn't grow up to be dickheads or tried to not be a dickhead. Trust me on that. And then... it doesn't really work as a movie. Because, as a movie, there's really not much there other than when a song pops up. Even the songs that's not Prince. I like the Morris Day and the Time song, Jungle Love, which Hell, I first heard that song at the end of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Because Jay and Silent Bob mention Moore's Day and the Time, and they have them play at the end. Because I remember seeing that movie, came out 2001, saw it on DVD probably 2002. Well, I saw it 2002, 2003 is when I saw it on DVD. And liked it for what it was. It was fun. My jungle love. Ooh-wee, ooh-wee, ooh. But yeah, I first knew about Jay and Silent Bob Straight Back. So again, now seeing the film, at least I have a little bit more context to it. So there's that. And the film was a hit. It made Prince do another movie, but this time he directed it, Under the Cherry Moon, which didn't get much good reviews. This did. I think Siskel and Ebert, they liked it, and they said it was one of the better rock movies. And I'm like, okay, the soundtrack, yes, but as a movie? What makes this good as a movie is what I'm asking you. Not talking about the soundtrack. The soundtrack is great. But what makes this good as a movie? Like, can you really say the characters are great? Moore's Day is fun in his cartoony way. He's fun to watch. He really, I guess you'd call him a villain. But it's not like he gets any comeuppance. And he's rocking with Prince at the end. So I guess he's not that much of a villain. Although, isn't there a point where one of his buddies like throws a woman into the trash or something? But yeah, he doesn't really get a whole lot of comeuppance and stuff. I don't know, man. And the whole thing with like the abuses, like 8 Mile did that kind of stuff and was better. Like 8 Mile actually tried a bit more with the drama and the acting, the characters. Like it tried to do a bit more with that. And I do think 8 Mile is a better movie. Like, that tried to actually be a movie. This, it's a bunch of images put together where to splice the soundtrack. And again, it's a damn good soundtrack, but the movie itself, I would never watch again. And it's directed by Albert Magnoli. I always think that's funny because, I think he's one of the people who is a secondary director on Tango and Cash. Because they fired the director and they got someone else in. And also he directed Street Night with Jeff Speakman. So yes, the second film Jeff Speakman starred in after The Perfect Weapon was Street Night. It was directed by the guy who did Purple Rain. So there you go. Which I always thought was a weird choice. And I think Street Night, well, the lack of budget. And like, I don't know if the guy who directed Purple Rain is really the guy to do your action film. Just saying. Unless he's going to start having Prince on the soundtrack. I mean, you could say like some of the editing's not too bad. Like the montage of When Doves Cry. Always on performance. And he's getting into his guitar work. And you see cuts of the crowd. And, you know, there's some energy to be had in those sequences. Which I would say is probably the best parts of the movie. Are those scenes when he's just playing his fucking songs. Like Purple Rain, his performance of that is the best scene in the movie. But then I'll just watch a music video of Purple Rain instead of watching this fucking movie. So yeah, the way the women are, they're just, you know, pretty... They're not given much to do. Prince, his character, I get that he's going through troubles, but it's really hard for me to sympathize with the character. And there's never a time where I don't remember him saying, like, really sorry. I'm sorry I spat the shit out of you. At least have one conversation about it or something. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But fuck it. Soundtrack, movie, not so much. But with that said, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.